What is up, guys? The red light is on. Cam, how you doing, brother?
Doing good. Just chilling. It's nice to have an early night of UFC fights.
I know I did like a little live last week too, and it wasn't a pay-per-view, it was like a normal show, and it was on like at 7 p.m. kind of a thing. So it came on, I think it ended around 10 or 10:30. So it was cool. I was like, oh, we can do this. Yeah, 2:30 a.m. is too late for me. I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm not a night owl. I like to go to bed at a reasonable time. Fun fact, I'm an old man at heart.
Yeah.
So
You're Benjamin Button.
yeah. Yeah, I might look young, but I like to go to bed and get my sleep. So I'm
There
glad
you go.
afternoon.
Dude, all right, let's get right into it. I was so pumped. It was one of those things. Oh, first and foremost, I want to kind of go off on I didn't understand. I didn't get it. So you know how many I was talking to so many people this week, asking everyone, fighters, people in the media members, fans, just everyone, who's going to win, Khabib or Gaethje? And I'm telling you, I couldn't. It was more than 50%. I'm pushing towards 60 to 70%. Everyone was Gaethje, straight up Gaethje, not plus money, nothing to do with money, just a straight up who's going to win the fight. And I was like, I just don't. For one, I love Gaethje. I'm a Gaethje guy. He's incredible. His next fight, I'm going to pick Gaethje. I just don't understand. Khabib Nurmagomedov is 28-0, undefeated, has never lost. I didn't get the concept of why this one. Like, why is Khabib going to lose? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Yeah. And until I see the loss, like, I'm going to go with Khabib. It really, when Jones beat Dominic Reyes and Israel Adesanya defeated Costa, I was like, guys, I'm going with these multiple 10, 15, 20 win UFC champs, the defendant champs. I'm going to go with that guy until they get a one, until they get a loss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, I could shed some light on like why the thought process was Gaethje, because I was rooting for Gaethje. Either way, I was gonna be fine because Khabib, and if he wins, it's a great storyline. I mean, it's the Michael Jordan of MMA, basically. I really thought that,
right?
especially after that Ariel Helwani tweeted a picture of them side by side. That really solidified.
Insane.
But the reasoning behind me thinking Gaethje poses problems for Khabib is the whole time Gaethje's been fighting, there's nobody that's really pushed him back. Like, he's able to meet pressure. He is pressure. And anytime he strikes and somebody level changes, he level changes as well and meets force with force. He tends to just run into him. He usually never backs up to the fence. Leg kicks were going to be a big part, which you did see Khabib eat you. And if it goes past 2 rounds and it starts getting a third, fourth, fifth round, those leg kicks really cause serious problems for Khabib.
Right.
Gaethje had, I feel like Gaethje's got the better striking, and I felt like Trevor Whitman could possibly see some openings. But really what blew me away was I knew Khabib had pressure, and I really felt like it came down to who can impose their pressure game first. And I thought Gaethje was just going to be able to stop Khabib and just stay in the middle. But I was just so blown away that even with somebody like a pressure fighter like Gaethje, Khabib is still it was smart. It wasn't like just a straightforward run towards him, but it was like slight side to side movements that still backed Gaethje up to the fence and was able to get those takedowns.
Right, like and that's another thing I want to put to bed right now. I want to put an idea of what sometimes I hear all the time about MMA. Like, I remember when Nagano fought Derek Lewis, and everyone said, "Oh, this can't go past the first round, and this can't be a boring fight. We're going to see a knockout." And especially with this fight, everything I heard is, of course, if Khabib wrestles and gets Gaethje down, it's over. But if they're standing, if there's any kind of altercation of them standing, Gaethje is going to win. And he's going to win these altercations. I'm putting that to bed. to me, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and especially in the second round, deflated Gaethje standing. His absolute pressure and just moving forward, he was throwing that weird eagle jab that he does, overhand rights. Like he was just, Khabib Nurmagomedov was in Gaethje's face as much as Gaethje was throwing back. And they had some good back and forth. I thought Gaethje had a couple nice hits in the first, but I'm putting that to bed. Whatever. I hear all the time, like there's a fight made, and they're like, oh, if it goes the distance, this guy's winning. And if it does, if there's a knockout in the first, this guy. That's not the case. Like it's just, these guys are too high level. Anyone in the UFC is too high level. People can win in multiple areas. Submission, TKO, decision, either way. I just think all these fighters are too damn good. I'm putting that to bed. Like it has to go one way or another.
Yeah, and I mean, Khabib is not as good as a striker, just a pure striker as Gaethje. What it is was just that pressure that he has makes good strikers start to look average. And I'm still mind blown. That was the one takeaway, was like, I was just impressed that he pressured him to the fence still. And I'm like, dude, it's impossible to stop that. Obviously, I kind of wanted to watch him fight GSP, but I completely respect him retiring and him honoring his mom.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to be like, no, come back, Khabib. Like, that's cool. But I really feel like we probably just witnessed the greatest. Like, I listened to Daniel Cormier talk about who's the greatest of all time, like after that fight.
Right.
And he said Khabib. I've always thought it was John Jones, because you look at John's resume, he's beat living legends in the sport when he was coming up and defending the title. But he said one thing that really solidified it for me was John even made a mistake in that one disqualification. He made a mistake from a 12-6 elbow. And we can argue if 12-6 should be allowed or not allowed. But Khabib never made a mistake.
Right.
He's never made a mistake, and he's 58 out of 60 rounds he's won. He lost 2 rounds. He's never been in a close fight. He's never been in a war. He has controlled everything. And even in those 2 rounds he lost, you can argue that he won that round.
And also with that, and I didn't know, it's one of those things, the show was so good, and there's 2 things I want to go with, kind of exactly what you said. So let me start with the first thing. One is the moment, him winning and him retiring, walking away. It's one of those things. It's, in a way, it was great that we didn't know it was the retirement fight. It was a big deal. It was a shocking moment, huge announcement. And I think it was the right thing to do in a way. I think it's people always go 2 fights too long. Like Anderson Silva's fighting next weekend, Saturday night, Halloween versus Uriah Hall. And like, let's just be honest about, you ready for this one? And I grew up in MMA through the Anderson Silva era, and he's almost underrated as an all-timer now because of the last 2, 3, 4 years.
Yes.
But the last 2, 3, 4 years we've all seen, and he's won in 4 in his last 5, and we can't ever get that back.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva's went 7 fights too long. Imagine if after him kicking Vitor Belfort, he retired. You're like, oh my God. Like he won 9 straight, 8 straight defending titles. Good thing he had to go left. People writing stuff. It was just like one of those things. I think the retirement thing is great. And if I can just be honest, kind of pull the curtain behind I've never done a more 180 on any mixed martial artists in my whole entire career, except for Khabib Nurmagomedov. After his fight with Conor, and I was a little bit more of a Conor guy. He's got the swag. He can talk the talk, walk the walk. And Khabib defeated him, jumped over the thing. It was just like this, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe Nurmagomedov did that. And now just the work ethic, the grind, you have to respect his ability, what he did with Dustin and the charity, and then everything with his father and how he listens to his mother and how his teammates talk about him. You know this, Cam. Like, that means a really lot of you, that people inside Remedy and people inside the people that you talk to and you grind with every day, like, no, dude, Cam's the real deal. Cam's a stud. I got his back. Well, all that, like, his opponents his teammates love him so damn much. I'm so high on Nurmagomedov right now. I'm like, I think I'm the biggest fan of Nurmagomedov that I ever thought I could be. So that just saying that's one. And then two, let's go with the GOAT thing. And you mentioned Jones and just losing a couple rounds. Nurmagomedov just beat Gaethje, Dustin, and Conor. Third round, second round, pretty handily. You never felt like he was, like there was Dustin had a moment, Conor had a moment or maybe a round, but like I always felt, oh man, Nurmagomedov's going to get him down sooner or later. Like you always felt that. And with that being said, I just feel like everything he's done outside the octagon. Yeah, he had the little thing with Conor jumping over, but like how much all the outward, all the people love and respect Khabib Nurmagomedov. And John Jones has had so many of the suspensions and the steroids, and then that he's not the champ anymore and taken back like that. You have to put into effect. You have to needle the very, very top of it. So I think it is what it is. I think I have Khabib over Jones. I don't know about GSP and Silva and other things, but that's almost another conversation for another time. But I was so impressed. But we got someone else joining the show. We got our main man, Aaron the dog. How you doing, my man?
Yo, can you hear me all right? I'm outside on my porch.
You sound like Jesus and Fergie. You look amazing.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling all right. I ended up getting on a little bit late here, just taking care of a few other things. But what a main event.
But what's your first take? You got 30 seconds to talk about UFC 254. What comes at you first?
I mean, Khabib's the GOAT, and this is part of being the GOAT, is that you're leaving with people arguing that they want to see more of you. This is part of being. If you're leaving on top, you're not gonna have everybody going, especially when you're Khabib is 32, 33 years old 32. At this point. Yeah, 32 and a long 32, obviously. And I mean, each one of these weight cuts, they don't get easier as you get older. I firmly believe Khabib is not a 170er as well. So to retire as a 155er and not go to 170 and be like, oh, easier cut. I mean, he was the perfect 155er. He's the greatest of all time at 155. Him or Jones, it's like it depends on your style, but it depends. I think that if you're going with the hardcore fan, I think most would be going with Khabib now, but Jones has a great performance in a couple months against Adesanya, and then it's Jones again.
Right.
This is MMA.
I'm so happy you said that. It's so funny. If John Jones defeats Stipe Miocic or Israel Adesanya, who
or both,
are your top three, or both. Brock Lesnar, a big moment against Lesnar. Francis Ngannou, if he has a couple more, But I don't know if you heard me what I was saying to Cam. To me, there's so much more. I know people inside John Jones' camp who doesn't like John Jones. There's that part of it.
There's a legacy. There's a legacy aspect, which
exactly.
isn't even begun for Khabib yet. I mean, Islam Makhachev is going to be a champion by the end of 2021. So it's just I think has a very good chance at becoming champion. I won't say automatically he becomes champion, but put Islam Makhachev up against Michael Chandler. Put him up against Eddie Alvarez. Put him up against these guys at the top right now. I think he's already ready. And either way, I think that no doubt Khabib is done. I don't have any issues with it at all. I mean, GSP would have been a great fight to see, and I would have been taking Khabib in that fight. But it's like.
Let me address that. This is the first time we mentioned GSP and about the fight, and I kind of want to take both of your takes. I love the fight. I love the poster. You can just have literally block words, the greatest fighter ever, whoever wins, whatever, right? I just didn't like the fight. GSP is a 170er. Khabib's 155. And then, like you said about the age, the older you get, GSP's fought one time in 7 years outside the welterweight division, and it was just for the middleweight title. Him fighting back at 155, I felt like Khabib had a humongous advantage if GSP can get all the way down there. I felt the fight was tad overrated inside the octagon. It's one of those movies you get all these great superstars and Leo and this guy, and then the movie's like, but it's got all these cool names. So in the poster,
it's very Expendables for sure.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
And that matchup was expendable. It always was for both of the fighters, and I think it's kind of just been shown here, like just at the end. After now, it's been kind of put to bed. He's like, "Oh, I would have loved that fight." Now GSP is going to say that. It's like, whatever. It's like, okay, cool.
What do you think about that, Cam?
I would have loved to watch it just because obviously, then if Khabib beats GSP, and he'd obviously be the favorite in my opinion,
right?
Then you go, no doubt, Khabib's the greatest over everybody. There's no argument because GSP's always been in the conversation against like John Jones and Anderson as one of the GOATs. So if people consider him the GOAT or one of the GOATs, Khabib dominates them, then there's hands down Khabib's GOAT. You can't argue about it.
Right. So kind of back to kind of like this. Cam, you put it out there on Facebook, and people have just been boom, boom, boom. And then our guy Dean Toole threw out something out there. Of course, it's just how we are in MMA. Like, what's next? What now? The lightweight title's vacant. What's next? It looks like Dustin and Connor with January, and right away. But one thing I don't know if you guys heard, Michael Chiesa was like, "Dude, Connor would say, hey, I didn't sign that. I want Gaethje. I'll take him in January or somewhere else. Let's fight for the title. Like, I don't even want that matchup. What do you think is next? Who do you think it should be? Cam, you threw out a little round robin. Dean threw out Masvidal out there, which was mind blowing. What's next for the lightweight title?
Yeah, Dean Toole out here trying to steal my thunder. I thought I had a super smart idea, and I didn't even throw Masvidal in there because I'm over here thinking Masvidal's still going to be at 170 and all that fun stuff. And Masvidal and Covington, and hopefully that gets done. So I didn't even put him in there for a reason. And then Dean Toole had to go over there and try to steal my thunder. But I don't know. I like the tournament idea because I was talking with my dad about it, and I think Connor and Poirier should still happen. I think it's a better matchup because Poirier's gotten a lot better. I still think it goes Connor's way. But I don't know. I think that happens, and then I would say, hey, Tony, I mean, he lost once in 12 years or whatever, so he's still a viable option. But you can't just match him up with, like, Gaethje again because that's not really a smart fight to make. And Chandler was just there.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, it's like, do you want to throw Chandler in there and, like, he skips the line, even though he's a 3-time world champion in a different organization? You want to just let him skip the line over on a couple people? I don't know the politics of all that stuff. But I feel like that round robin of Poirier, Connor, and then Gaethje and Chandler, winners fight for the vacant title, and then heck, you could have the losers fight each other. And then Tony Ferguson and Hooker, and that hits your top 5 right there, all on the line.
Right, that's pretty good. I got an idea, but Aaron, I would love to hear yours first.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar along the same lines. I think that Gaethje can turn around, fight before the end of the year. He didn't take anything crazy. So, like, he went out on a choke. So I think if we're looking at this towards, like, year's end, I'm guessing, like, towards, like, the new year, he'll be ready to go. So the odd guy out, long story short here, is still going to be Tony Ferguson. It is just kind of the theme of it. It's going to be those 4 kind of figure out who's the next guy, and then Tony Ferguson and Hooker kind of becomes a fight where it's like it's a big fight for both of those guys, but it doesn't do a whole lot with regards to any title aspirations. It's winner gets to face Islam Makhachev. So winner gets to face the next Khabib Nurmagomedov. So that's all that means for Tony Ferguson and Hooker, in my opinion. And then when Tony Ferguson or Hooker wins, whichever one, which I would think would still be Tony at this point for me, but we'll see how he comes back from a beating of a lifetime at 30, like eventually, because he is like 36, I believe. Tony.
Yeah, he's up there.
And he's gone through a rehabless, rehabs, or like all the. I mean, eventually he is human, but I do think Tony Ferguson's still good enough to get past Hooker, but Makhachev I think is going to end up taking that momentum, and then Makhachev is going to end up facing kind of one of the guys who doesn't end up fighting for the title, and then at the end of the day, Makhachev I think is the big winner from this big retirement here. I really do, because now he's got Khabib as his coach basically now.
And if I gotta say a dark horse of the division, I would say Charles Oliveira.
Love it.
The Brox. Okay.
Yes, he is very dangerous. I mean, his last win was submitting Kevin Lee, correct?
Yeah, I mean he's got 16 submissions, I think, in the division as well.
Terrifying on the ground.
Right.
And his stand-up's gotten dangerous as well. So, I mean, and he's still young. But DuBronx is like the ageless dark horse there. I think he's still in his mid-20s. So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to bring some heat with you guys right now. So, I saw the poster. They show the next kind of events up, and they show the poster. It's the end of the year. They show UFC 255. And I see Davison Figueiredo versus Alex Perez. We've had Alex on the Perez twice, 3 times on Fight Bananas. I love me some Alex Perez. I got trolled when I said Alex Perez should get a title shot really soon. Davison Figueiredo has never sold out. Even when he fights in his backyard, he still can't sell out that show. Guys, UFC 255 is being headlined, and it's going to be headlined by Conor McGregor and Justin Gaethje. That's what's going to happen. I agree with you. Gaethje's going to come back quick. Valentina, there's only 4 fights on that main card. I don't know if you guys sneaked that one out. Conor wants to fight in December. He's been begging to come back. Habib's gone. You want to get a big buy rate right away. You want to get all these guys. You guys just mentioned the Bronx. You mentioned Islam. You mentioned Chandler, Tony, Dustin. There's like 8 guys. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's go Conor Gaethje in December. Let's go. I like the Dustin Tony fight that they threw out there a month ago, 2 months ago. Let's put that one in January. And now you can have Chandler. There's more guys, but whatever. You got Conor Gaethje, the winner, fights Tony and Dustin. I really do believe you might even have Conor and Dustin win. And if that's the matchup you want, you can put that Super Bowl. You can put that spring. You can even, if something happens, even July, if there's people allowed to come see fights again, you can have Conor, Dustin, July International Fight Week, and it would be literally for that lightweight title. It would be bananas. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. These are not always my strongest conversations, Dave. If we're talking about like which up and coming LFA fighters I was looking to see open a UFC card, not even a pay-per-view. I'd be like, yo, let's talk about my boy Vince Murdoch fighting on Dana White's Contender Series on the 4th, but I'll save that for Thursday. But I don't know. I just want to see a little bit of clarity now, because this division is completely up in the air now.
Right, so you need to see fights. Like, fights need to happen. Mm-hmm. And then, guys, UFC 255, I saw the poster, and I saw Davidson and Perez on top, and Valentina and Maya. It's not even Valentina and a big one. It's Jennifer Maya and the co. I was like, nah, I don't buy it.
Look, whoever fights Valentina, you don't want to count them out or anything, but at this point, I feel like she's on a completely different level than everybody in the division.
Except for Jillian Robertson, but we won't get into that tonight.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. But the majority, it's kind of like Valentina's going to run through a lot of them,
right?
With ease. And that card, I saw it and I was like, "There's only 4 fights set." I was caught off guard with that, so that needs some meat on there, and I'd be cool with that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be hurt. There's so many fights you could do with the 155-pound division now. Khabib, he was kind of set on what you're gonna do, and you're running out of options because he's cleaning out the division. But now with him retiring, there's so many possibilities
Right, there really is. And like you can go so many different ways. Of course, money and all that stuff. If they didn't want to do Conor Gaethje, they can even throw Conor Dustin into into December and kind of have Gaethje.
And I just say real quick, I don't think Conor's facing anybody besides Dustin.
Okay.
Next, I don't think they're risking Conor getting flatlined by Justin Gaethje. I just don't, and I don't think there's the same risk there with Dustin Poirier. For one, he's defeated him before, and for two, that's just not how Dustin Poirier is going to win a fight. Exactly, like similar to Gaethje. I just think that there's
Gaethje more dangerous.
Exactly. Yeah, and he completely ruins the now. Now we don't have the Khabib threat over Conor, where Khabib was never going to lose to Conor. I don't care what anybody said. I don't care how. I don't care. He was never, and Conor knew that. 100%. Khabib knew that. Dana knew that. Everybody knew that. And the people who didn't, I don't need to talk to.
With the left hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I totally get it.
Shot, he touches anybody with
the right hand overhand by Khabib, like period. That when that happened, I was just like, there's no more discussion if like needed. Not that there was, but so. This, I think, does get Conor way more interested in being committed to MMA for longer than a fight, for one. He's not going to be going after Manny Pacquiao and after but the UFC knows this too. They're not just thinking because Gaethje got mounted triangled by Khabib. And what looked like a UFC video game move, literally, I've seen that in the UFC video game, the mounted triangle move. I'm like, no one in an actual fight is going to set it up like where they're like, step one, get it to... Like it was like a video game. It really was like straight out of the video game. But like Conor, they're not going to risk Conor against. They have to have him face someone elite here. They're not going to have him. And I don't want to sound like I'm disrespecting Dustin Poirier, but Dustin Poirier is the best elite guy they can put Conor against. That Conor can still have a very good chance to win. So before this fight, that was what Donald Cerrone was. That is exactly what Donald Cerrone was.
Right.
This guy who they could argue, oh, well, Donald Cerrone's got wrestling and he's got this MMA game and like, watch out. And then what does Conor do? He blows the doors off him because that was the exact level that Conor could be. Now you can't put Conor against like an Ally Quinta right now. You can't put him against you have to put him against someone really good.
Yeah,
and
that's
the best really good guy they can put him against where they're not, I think, extremely, extremely worried that even if I'm not saying he can't lose this fight to Dustin, I'm not. But I also am picking Conor in this fight against Dustin. And I think there's a reason that the UFC is setting it up. So I just don't, and I wouldn't pick Conor against Justin Gaethje. I wouldn't pick Conor. I wouldn't. So that's my
so when I came to the studio, I was at the house all day. We had a great day watching fights. We went to the pumpkin patch with all the kids. It was phenomenal. So I come into this beautiful studio and I got this beautiful iMac that I'm recording the Mac computer, but I didn't bring a charger for it. So we're down to 12%. So I'm just giving you a heads up. We probably got around 8 to 10 minutes left. So I kind of want to veer it back. Kind of let's relax on December and January. UFC 254 for one. Big shout out Robert Bobby Knuckles Whittaker. I love me some Whittaker. Kinnear, who I think I made 9 bets on this card, and I made a little one on Whittaker, but I was scared. Like Kinnear is one of those guys. He can end it on any punch, and he's almost to me like in a weird way. I think he was underrated. People are like, oh, he's got 4 losses. He's got 3 losses as a light heavyweight. I don't know if you guys heard of these light heavyweights: Jan Bakovic, Dominic Reyes, and Glover Teixeira. It's like the 3.
They're kind of good.
So like he's got great losses, but I love me some Whittaker. I'm so happy he won. I thought it was weird, right? And this is why maybe I like him so much. He's such a family guy. You can tell the UFC is like, say Israel Adesanya. Bobby, say his name. And he's like, no, I'm going home. I want Christmas. My wife's in January. I'm not fighting. I don't know. We'll see. I thought it was so cool. So now Israel has no one to fight. Like he's in no man's land there. There's no one to step up. Bobby Knuckles ain't coming back to June at the in the earliest. So I'm just super happy that he won. And now the middleweight division's wrecked. It's like, dang, like Costa. they should put Costa versus Kinnear. Like, that's the fight to make for me. And then, do you guys see anyone jumping up really to fight Izzy?
The only thing I could say would be, because I said the same thing. I was like, the best thing for the division would have been Jared to beat Whittaker, because then you had Izzy had just called him out. He beat.
It was easy.
And you're like, oh, there's your title shot. Because Jack Hermanson is fighting Darren Till.
Oh, Till can Hermanson, Till, and Izzy.
That's the only thing I thought was Whittaker. If he's going to take so much time off, and if say Till blasts through Jack, like just cleans him out, then you can set that fight, and that would be easy to promote because I mean it's Darren Till, he's hilarious. And
their internet social media like campaign, those two,
that game,
Darren Till and Adesanya. Darren Till has the best internet troll game in all of MMA.
100%.
Just ask Mike Perry. Ask Darren Till number 1, 2, 3, Team Raw Dog. Like, period.
Easy question mark?
Yeah, it's all he has to do is, I mean, it's not all he has to do, but he has to blast Hermanson, who's been shown that if he gets blasted, is blastable. And then he has to get on the mic and yell and make a promo, and it's
done.
It's
the
very
promo. Izzy, I'm gonna Raw
Whittaker will probably retweet him, being like, "Good luck, Darren. Very excited to see you in there."
Yeah,
like, he'll be like very pumped about it, and he won't even be joking. He'll mean it. He'll be absolutely serious because Darren Till almost put away Bobby Whittaker too with that elbow.
Right,
that elbow would have put away most fighters.
Yeah,
and it's simple. Whittaker comes back in June or July, and he fights Israel Adesanya, who had the fight against Till in March, January, February. Or he can fight Darren Till. Said, Darren, your last fight, I beat you. So I get the match, and maybe Izzy moves up or down, whatever. So I think I think that makes perfect sense. If Hermanson wins, just explode the whole middleweight division, and Israel can literally pick whoever he wants. I don't know.
Hermanson's not going to win that fight.
Yes, I love that. I got money on Till already. 2 weeks ago, I got him on the money line. So that's Bobby Whittaker. I'm not going to talk about Volkov. I was pissed. I'm not going to talk about it. It's my show. I do whatever I want.
Okay, fine. Okay.
And, cool tattoo, though.
I practice his name 10 times, but it's out of my head. Unkanov? Megamov? What is it, Aaron?
Magomedov Ankalaev.
Ankalaev.
Yeah. That it's about damn time that fight was done. I told Garrett on Thursday when we were covering it, I'm like, I'm not breaking this fight down anymore.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot.
He's very, very good, and it's time for him to move up in the division.
Right.
I think that he was 14 minutes and 59 seconds away. Like, he was literally 1 second away against Craig from being undefeated. He still has the best winning streak in the division currently. So I mean, you've got to put him up there really quickly. There's only a couple of guys at light heavyweight that I'm a huge fan of at this point, now that John Jones has left the division, in all honesty. But one of which I still am a big fan of is Glover Teixeira. I still think he can make a run, and I do believe he will have the title sometime in 2021.
Isn't Anthony Johnson coming back? He's in the testing pool, correct?
Oh no, he's coming back January. He's going to fight. I heard actually. I heard his opponent kind of, and it's like in the MMA whispers. Man, I lost it. I had
light heavyweight.
Yeah, 100% light heavyweight, 100%.
Yeah,
that's where he should be.
So he's coming back for sure. That's happening.
That's a bad man.
Yeah, but
Glover takes him down and submits.
Isn't Jones there anymore? He feels like, him versus, he already defeated Glover very quickly as well. Like, he could win the championship because there isn't a number one guy there. And I think the 2-3 best guys there are a little bit too young. Give them 2 years with the Yair and a couple of those guys. So that's crazy. But I get, like I said, there's 5% left on the MAC. Man, Khabib Nurmagomedov, I'm just like blown away. I got a little emotional, man. I got like just so admired and so respect, and just how everyone there at Fight Island was treating him. And it kind of came out that he broke his foot 3 weeks ago, and just it's like one of these things. This will be the most mythical wins ever. It's probably the last fight on Fight Island without fans and stuff because they're going to Vegas, and the presidency will be alarmed in a couple of weeks, and I think people will be back in crowds. So I'm just pretty pumped, man. And I was just very, very happy for Khabib, and very just like someone who's just been so into this pandemic era of fights. This was like the cherry on top. This was just, they say, what a run UFC has had. And how crazy is it that in a 2-month span, DC, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Anderson Silva, 3 out of the top 10, maybe of all time, are all going to kind of leave the sport. It's like it's a changing of the guard.
Makes me sad.
It makes me sad.
Yeah.
I have to go cry in a little bit.
I haven't been sad since Anderson broke his leg. Nothing in MMA makes me sad anymore. That's the last time I ever got truly sad.
He's a hardened MMA fan.
That just after that, I didn't believe in magic anymore. Really, both of the times that Weidman defeated Silva defeated any match. So like, this is why like Anderson doesn't even get into discussion of GOAT now because of how long he's stuck around, and that is
right.
Like crazy. He's not even in the like top. Maybe is he in the top 10 of all time? Is he still in the top 10 all time? Like,
yeah,
the fact that is great. But like, you see how we even have to ask that?
You have to question it.
Yeah, like remember I don't want to end this talking about lamenting on Jones because I know you have like 1%, but it's like remember watching Jones kick Vitor in the face and think anything's possible. Remember when he came back against Chael Sonnen and like you're just like that like is. Yeah, he didn't win all 4 of the rounds, but that's like true GOAT shit. Is not dominating all the time and still went like, and then that had to go away.
I feel like I kind of grew up on Anderson. Like I was still younger before that, but like when I was able to afford it and drive wherever I want and, buy wings and beer, I'm watching Anderson Silva and GSP and Cain Velasquez.
Yeah,
just like
Anderson versus Forrest was the last of the magic. That was the last. It was never the same after that. Right. It was never, ever the same after the paw. That was still one of my favorite fights of all time.
Aaron the Dog, catch him Thursday nights Inside the Distance podcast. Killer Cam Bennett, catch him December 5th at Island Fights. Opponent, can't say just yet, but it's coming. It's going to be big.
I don't even know who it is.
Huh?
I don't even know who it is.
I'll tell you off there. Man, it's crazy. What a great show. It was, like I said, to me, it was just what a great ending to Fight Island and everything that happened in the last 8 months. Next week, Anderson Silva defeats Uriah Hall in his retirement match. I cannot wait. Crazy good stuff there. So, man, appreciate you boys kind of staying up with me and joining the show.
Staying up. The main card's just starting. We're not staying up. What are you talking about? The main card is just starting.
I love it. It's real the Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, boys.
Quick plug just before I know you're about to die. Thursday, 8 p.m., we're going to be back. And we have a very special guest coming on the podcast. I did mention his name earlier, but Vince Murdoch's coming on Thursday, 8 p.m. He's going to be fighting on the Contender Series coming up on November 4th. Coming back from a huge brain injury of the last 2 years. So he's going to have an amazing interview with us at 8 p.m. on Thursday. I'm super excited about this. My college roommate texted me and was like, hey, he's my brother and he's fighting. So I didn't even know it. So it's going to be a wild interview, 8 p.m. on Thursday. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, man. Later, boys. Later, Cam. Appreciate you guys. We out.
Later.